wanna make it, you gotta change your mindset. Your circumstances due to how your time spent. Endurance to the end, it's not a contest. You must read the fine print. It matters what you feed your mind, your body and your spirit.
Hey, what's the deal, everyone? Welcome to the Meal Change Podcast. This is episode number 60. It's a milestone episode. Hopefully you guys are doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. If this is your first episode, this is the Meal Change Podcast. And sorry, I'm getting my notes together. And we help millennial men build a better mindset. And we give you guys tools and things to really help you level up and really make sure that your life is in order, or at least you're going in the direction that you're supposed to in your life. And sometimes that we get sidetracked. So this particular episode, I want to talk a little bit about holding on to things that you don't need to. One of the things that I realized I was doing was I was holding emotional trauma from the past, and those things were starting to affect my future. And not only my future, but my present day, my way of thinking. And a perfect example of this was sometimes when you get into a relationship with a person and you guys are in this lovey-dovey phase and you love everything this person does and they can't do wrong in the beginning, and then something happens and your response to that thing is usually like minor or something like that. Maybe you and the other person don't really correct each other or anything like that. Not to say we're here to correct each other, but you kind of brush those things off. But that particular thing might have affected you as a person. So I realized that we can be walking around holding on to so much baggage behind us that it's really almost becoming a weight on our shoulders and we're not letting go. And one of the things that I want to talk about this week in this episode is holding on to emotional trauma, not only from your past, but it could be even further back, like your childhood. Now, if you guys never watched this episode or you're listening online or something like that, or because I know a lot of people listen on Spotify and Apple and some of the other podcast links. I'm an African-American male. I'm a black guy, whatever you want to call it. So in our community, we sometimes struggle with mental health. And I know a lot of communities struggle with mental health, especially here in the West. But for us African-American people, we're still struggling because we're still trying to figure out ourselves. And there's been so many things that's been told to us that's been lies, and we've been deceived, and a lot of people has been against us. Now, we're not victims or anything like that. We're starting to race in the rear, as you could say. We're behind everyone else, and the reason why we're behind everyone else is because situations. I don't need to go into it. You understand those situations. Now, with that being said, we don't need any handouts. We don't need any, we can take them, of course, reparations and some of the things that kind of corrected redlining and some of the stuff from the, the civil rights era. We'll love to see some type of correction because, here in America, they do it all the time. But I don't try to make this episode about race or any episode about race because it's geared to help men and give men tools. But one of the things that I've noticed as an African-American male is I was holding on from my childhood about what my parents went through, wondering why they got divorced, wondering what happened with them, wondering why my mother hated my father. And when I would visit my father, because they split when I was really young, why did my mom have so much negative things to say about him? And then I've seen this man, and he doesn't give any examples of what she say he was. And what I mean by baggage too, sometimes it's unanswered questions. Sometimes it's things that you're like, well, why is things that way? And so I think that one of the things that we could do is to release a lot of that trauma is, fellas, we can go to counseling. I know it's not a thing that's normal or a thing that's preached in any community for men, but we're holding on, bro. We're holding on mentally. And then we get to a certain age where we snap. And the reason why we snap is because we're holding on to too much crap, man. You know, eventually our lives become like these garbage bags, and they're just filled with stuff from the past. And then you got worry and about like your bills, and then you maybe have a family, then you have tons of things that go in this garbage bag. Well, this garbage bag of life, really, at some point, that bag is going to burst. Now, we don't want to look at it as we're going to pass away or something like that, but at some point, all those things are going to come back and haunt you, and all those things are really going to just really stop you from moving forward. So for us to throw out the trash of the past, we have to understand, why did these things happen? And sometimes those unanswered questions can be addressed with people that get paid for doing that. So it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to talk to your homeboys about it. It's okay to, start a new friendship or join a group that has some type of support for you. Because that weight of the past, your current things, what's going on, what you want to get accomplished in the future, it's just too much going into the garbage bag at once. So you have to release. And so for myself, I realized that I always wonder why my parents broke up. I always wonder why they got a divorce, because I didn't see the man that my mother was saying that my father was. I didn't see that. And so for me, it was like, well, I'm confused. And I think that when I got into relationships when I was a little bit older, I would approach the relationships from my mother's point of view of, okay, I have to be a good guy or good man or something like that, and not be like my father. And truth be told, my father, it just happens. Their relationship just changed. And, when I turned, I think it was like 32 or 33, my father explained to me what exactly happened. And I was like, I never got that perspective of what my mom said. So I want you guys to see that holding on to so much shit from the past, excuse my language, can really, really just destroy you mentally, man, because it's just too much. It's overwhelming. And you don't want your life to be based on someone else's life. We see that all the time where, your dad went to school, you went to school. Your dad was a dentist, you're a dentist. Your dad was a doctor, you're a doctor. And we're wondering why we have so many mental health problems. It's because often we're just walking around as the shell of our past, or the shell of our parents, or the things that our parents wanted to do but they couldn't do, and then they always give you that excuse, well, I couldn't do it because I had you. Happens, So I decided to write a couple things about it, right? At some point, you're gonna have to become independent with your thinking and kind of abandon the old thinking. And for you to abandon it, you gotta address it. If you don't address it, you don't have the tough conversations. You don't ask the tough questions. It never goes away. It's gonna haunt you forever. And then it's going to be at the bottom of your garbage bag, gaining weight every single year. Every single year that you don't forgive, every single year that you don't heal, every single year that you don't break away from that old crap or your old habits or something like that, so some new habits can come in, you're done, man. It eventually is going to burst. And I think most men go through their midlife crisis around about late 40s, early 50s, where they're running around acting crazy. That's so many of us. So here, I'm going to give you guys a plan of action for this week. this is something that I want you guys to do. Number one, I want you to write down 3 things you want to get accomplished this week. It doesn't matter what those things are. It doesn't matter how big those things are or how small they are. I want you to write those things down. So for me this week, I want to work out 5 days this week and go to martial arts class 5 days, right? And then also work on my website and some other things that I'm building. Now, for you guys, it might be something different, but I want you to make sure that you always show up for yourself. So much of our lives, we're showing up for everyone else. Show up for yourself for once. For once, put yourself first. Your kids are going to be okay. Your wife is going to be okay. Your family, they're going to be okay. Whoever usually needs you, they're going to be okay. For once in your life, put yourself first. For once in your life, write down some goals. Make sure you hit those goals. And if you don't hit those goals, start it up again next week. Week, fresh day. You know, you owe it to yourself for once to say, yo, I haven't came through for you. It's time I come through for you. And you know what happened to me? What I realized I wasn't showing up for myself is when I had to do something for someone else, I'd be on time, I dress the part, make sure I look how I'm supposed to look, make sure I know exactly what I need for that situation, and I go above and beyond. But then when it's time to show up for me, I'm like, I want to sleep in. I'm tired. Don't want to run. Don't want to lift weights today. Don't want to go to martial arts class. I have every excuse in the book for myself, but I never have excuses for them. So for once in your life, show up for yourself. You need it. You'll love it. You'll feel accomplished when you just get a couple things done for yourself. Now you can make more money, you can start a new career and all that other stuff, but all that stuff is just for someone else. You know, when's the last time you took a vacation just for you? When's the last time you did something just for you? When's the last time you took yourself out to eat? When's the last time you said, I'm gonna take a walk just for me? You have to think about it. So make sure in 2022, we're 6 months in, show up for you for once and love it and appreciate it and celebrate it. All right. So another thing that I wanted to talk about was understanding, don't let things get too far and fester in your life where it becomes, you know, almost like a cancer. For some of you guys have family members, you guys have people that you really, really care about, and they might have passed away from cancer. Like even in my family, I have people in my family that passed away from cancer. Well, your things that you might be carrying around can fester for so long that it becomes a cancer in your life, and it's not good for you. It really ain't, you know. And so for me, what's been festering is these unresolved relationships with not only like my family, but myself. And I just talked about it with you guys about, you know, I wasn't showing up for myself, but I was showing up for everyone else. So that's always been a tough thing for me to really, really talk about, because it's like I'm so giving to everyone else, but how much do I give to myself? You know, what is the energy that I'm giving myself? Now, everybody else, I'm giving 1,000% energy. I'm there for my daughter. I'm there for, you know, my past relationships. I'm there for, you know, the spots where might make money, a job or something like that, or the podcast. I'm always there. But when am I just there for just me? You know, and that's one of the things that was like a breaking point for me recently. It was like, yo, where's that type of energy when it's just you? When it's just you in the room? When it's just you got to take care of? And it's like, ooh, I wasn't doing that. So think about that. one of the last things that I want to talk about with you guys is, I talked about it, I want to say like 2 or 3 episodes back, where you have to know what your system is to make sure that you're not really holding yourself back. See, your system might be, I go to work Monday through Friday. I wake up at 7 a.m. to get there at 9, have a little breakfast, get the kids off to school. But what system is in place? And I talked about this a couple episodes back, and I'll put a link in the bio for this episode. What system is in place for you? And then also, once that system is in place for you, what system is in place for your family, just in case you were taken out of the equation. Now, if you don't have a system for yourself and you don't have a system for your family, I hate to say it, you're losing. But it's okay, because every day you can start fresh and you can start building upon that. But you have to have a system where you're taking care of you first, family second, and then maybe if you want to help, like, friends and family, they can be third. But you gotta take care of you first, because you're really useless if you don't have a system that's going to help you. You're really useless if you're walking around with all this baggage from your past and you haven't cut into it. And so I just want you guys to understand that, like, yo, man, I've been there. I've been not showing up for myself. I've been letting myself down. I've been always giving myself the excuses. And then at what point when it gets too late, it's like, well, you wasted all that time. You could have just did something with your time for just you. And I really didn't want to have that conversation, Yeah. So, guys, I appreciate all the support, all the love that you guys show. You guys visit the website on a regular, usually on my phone I get alerts, when people are on the website and stuff like that. So it's dope to see so many people visit the website and read the articles and, and really embrace some of the things that, we're trying to do. And we're just trying to get mentally better. I don't know if I said it, but June is Men's Health Month, and we want to make sure that with Men's Health Month, we want to make sure we show up for us. Out of all the other months that you're going to dedicate to everybody else, at least dedicate 1 month to you if you're a man, or you identify as a man, because I know, we live in a different time. So if you're a man and you identify as a man, this particular month, show up for you. Make sure you feel good about you. Make sure you take care of you this month. Make sure you go to the doctor if you can. I'm gonna try to get a doctor's visit in by the end of this month. Take care of you. It's very, very important. Very important, because people need you. People really do. All right, guys, so I'll be back with you guys in the next couple of days for a new episode of the Meal Change Podcast. I am the host, Devin Holly. I probably should let you guys know that more, but I'll be just so eager to give you the information that sometimes I forget. Oh, hey, by the way, you should introduce yourself. It happens. All right. But we'll be back with you guys in the next couple of days. Like I said, go visit the website, millchange.com, MILL change.com. And, leave some feedback. If you like the website, cool. If you don't like the website, cool. As long as I get you there. All right. So much love, respect, and I'll see you guys. Deuces.
You wanna make it, you gotta change your mindset. Your circumstances due to how your time spent. Endurance to the end, it's not a contest. You must read the fine print. It matters what you feed your mind. Your body and your spirit must be aligned. This is how you make it to your prime. And don't forget faith in the Most High. Check. If money's your motivation, you won't make it. Your expectations should be greater than paper with dead faces. You want greatness? It takes